So a little over a month ago, I was cutting the shallot on my mandolin. Uh, this one, if you're curious. And I shaved a piece of my ring finger on my right hand off. And it's healed mostly. It's still a tiny bit tender if I really press down on it. So it's doing good. Still going to put a finger cot on, and I'm going to use this hand to do mixing. So I'm going to make some sourdough. What I need to do is do 500 grams of all-purpose unbleached flour and 375 grams of water. Now, this shouldn't, there's gonna be nothing different or crazy about it. I'm not gonna do anything out of the ordinary for what I normally do. So let's get started. My water around body temperature, which is in the mid to upper 90s, but I always use filtered water, and I'm gonna have to get some out of the fridge. So 375 grams, which will give us a 75% hydration. The great thing about making sourdough is it doesn't cost too much, relatively speaking. The price of flour has definitely gone up in the last few years. Not by a lot, but noticeably, a couple like $2 to $3, depending on where you're at. And you can make a lot of bread with it, so you can still stretch the dollar out pretty good, but it's still not cheap. It's not as cheap as it was, and that price does not ever seem to be going down again. So, food is about as political as you can get. Anybody who makes food on YouTube very rarely gets into the politics of it. Which the current administration, with everything going on, inflation running wild, everything that's been tariffs and all of those things of this nature, tariffs don't apply in this case, but everything's connected. So anyway, 500 grams of flour, all-purpose white flour, making an autolyse. This is our first part. 375 grams of water. I wanted the DJI, but they don't sell them in this country anymore. Another political thing. But anyway, I'm using the Insta360 Luna Ultra, and boy, this camera's nice. It's worth it. It works really well. If you're going to do vlogging or anything, you get the mic. The mic is the killer part of this application. It negates all the ambient noise in the room, like to a point where it sounds like I'm recording this separately, and that's awesome. And I don't have to think about it. As long as I see my little green bar moving, I know my mic is on and attached, and I just got to do what I got to do in front of the camera. This is going to be gooey. It's a super hot day. It's been a super hot week. It was muggy. It rained a little bit yesterday, like a trace amount. So it's ultra muggy. It's the first weekend in August 2026 in Houston, Texas. So we're just in it. For the next 6 to hopefully no more than 6 weeks, it's going to be this hot every day. So we'll see how it goes. Everything is just sticking to my hand. When you get stuff sticking to your hand, wet the other hand and scrape it off. Like I said, I put a finger cot on this one, and it's mostly okay with pressure now. I noticed the last one I made, I didn't put a lot of pressure because it was still a little bit tender. That was like 2 weeks ago. So the bread didn't come out as good as I'd hoped. But now I think I can just go ahead and go on at full force. I was like, after the fact, I'm like, yeah, I should have used my mixer, but then I never get around to using my mixer. It might, if you're going to add a little bit of flour, do it now. This is the step to do it in, the auto lease. You don't have to do an auto lease. You can go straight into doing it, putting your starter in like after like 3 or 4 minutes of mixing with the flour and water. But I do an auto lease just because I've had very good luck with it, and it seems to work pretty well. If you're going to add flour, like I said, this is the only time you can do it, and this is the only time you'll be okay with it, and it won't screw everything up. So, add flour by the tablespoon. What I would do if you need, in this case, I'm going to add some flour. Flatten it out so that way you get an even distribution across a good portion of it, and then cover the whole thing. Add like a tablespoon, and if you can, just pick it up and flip it and do the other side. Like do a half a tablespoon on either side, so that way you get a nice just even distribution, and that should do it. There we go. That did it. So that was about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half. I got a barking pup. She likes to bark. She realizes that my wife went to go run an errand. She's like, "Where'd you go?" So there you go. See how it all doesn't stick to my hand anymore? I mean, that's just flour 101, right? But this is 97. You learn every time. It's almost like fishing. You have a general idea what you should do, and then something gets thrown at you that's different, and you have to figure that out. So it's just that's what keeps it interesting, and that's what and you got to eat. So I've been mixing this for about 5 minutes. It should be good. You can keep it in the same. You can use the same bowl. All you do is just get a clean towel. This is an example. This is not a clean towel. Get it wet and cover it, because you don't want it to dry out. You don't want your dough to dry out. Or I use a different bowl simply because this has a cover. So neutral oil, I'm using a vegetable oil. Spray it in. Take it, pull it out. See, it comes together pretty nicely. And there you go. Now take this, cover it, put it to the side, and we'll be back in about 45 minutes or so. The most important part of doing this, wash your hands and keep them washed. I have a finger caught on, like I was talking about before. I was looking at the video. I'm literally putting together the video that you saw before this video right now, while I'm waiting for my steps between the bread. And that was like 2 weeks ago, so my finger is much better today than it was before. It's still not completely healed, but there's no open wound, I should say. It's just tender, and it's a lot up here too, trying to get over being nervous about. I was watching a video of a woman cutting a shallot just like I was doing, and she went, and I was like, oh, and it was the same mandolin, and I was watching the video and I kind of cringed, and I was like, oh, hi PTSD, good old shell shock, like Carlin talked about. So, bowl is clean. Dough has been sitting here for about 45 minutes, maybe 50 at this point. See how it all comes together? There's like a little chunk that didn't go, and that's it. That's good. So let's Fire up our scale. We need salt. 15 grams of salt. Gotta have salt, otherwise it will not have any flavor at all. I can fold underneath. I have the finger caught on because it's not an open wound, but it's definitely tender and the skin hasn't grown over it yet. I thought maybe, oop, I lost a piece of my finger. It looks like most of it. I just took that top layer of skin off of about an area the size of a pea. When you put it in that terms, it doesn't seem like anything, but at the time it felt like I just cut my arm off at the shoulder. You know how it goes. I can see the spot where it cut, and the cut is like a millimeter, but it's deep and it's in a perfect spot that it was just pouring out blood, and it was just gooey red and gooey with blood for, ooh, it felt like a long time, but in reality it wasn't a huge amount of time. So I'm folding, and something you can't see that it's smooth, but if you can't see or feel, is if I were to move this out of the way, there's all of my salt. You see how I pulled it back and there's salt? That's fine. That's why we're mixing. It's going to take a good 2 to 3 minutes to really break down that salt, integrate it throughout our dough. And I fed my starter, about 5 hours ago. It takes about 8 hours for my starter to get to peak, and we're about 6 hours in, so you always want to catch it on the way up. I don't feel any salt anymore, so now we move on to our starter. I fed my starter about 6 hours ago. It's looking pretty good. Has a nice sweet odor to it. I want to put in 100 to 110 grams. Sometimes I use a spatula for this, but my hands are clean. And it's one more thing I gotta wash later. I gotta wash this thing, gotta wash this bowl, gotta wash this other bowl. Cooking is about how much you're willing to clean afterwards. So it's been about 8 minutes. That's why I was like, why am I tired? But yeah, it's been about 8 minutes. We got a nice beige dough. It's all sticking together really nicely. I just slammed my cut finger into the side of the bowl, and I only felt like a little oomph. Didn't feel bad. It just like when you push your fingers too hard against something. So I'm gonna keep talking about it because it's my finger and it's my video. I don't care what people say. Don't watch it then. Anyway, it's done. We're gonna let it rest. I'm just gonna put it over to the side. I'm gonna keep it at room temperature until we get to our proofing, which is in about 4 hours from now. So keeping it at room temperature is about 74 or so right now. And I can go back to editing my last sourdough video. All right, first of 3 folds. This is, the dough is nice and smooth now, so resting it is good. It's cool to the touch, but that's fine. Most of that will be rectified when we start doing our proofing, which is in a little while. But first we got to get these folds out of the way. That was the first of 3. We're going to do another one in about an hour. So the dough is really nice. I just let it sit. I've been doing other stuff and watching TV and editing other videos and feeding the birds and taking videos of the birds and just distracted with other things. Had a nice dinner. My wife and I just sat there and watched TV for a while, and I forgot about the dough for a little bit. And I was like, oh crap, I gotta get back in there. So letting it sit, even though it's cold, I'm about to put it in a 100-degree oven. My oven has a proofing feature, so I'm gonna let it sit in there for about an hour. This shouldn't take that long. And there we go. There's both of them. So a thing to do here is take a photo of them so you have a before and you can look at it and see whether or not they're doing okay. So I use shower caps and get them on Amazon, and they're single use. They work pretty well. I should find a better way to do this. I was thinking about it today. Maybe there's reusable shower caps, something with silicone maybe, instead of plastic. Everything's plastic. Ugh. It's not gonna end up well for us. Anyway, again, political, it's all political. Okay, so this is ready. And do the same thing here. So I spray a little oil because this is gonna fall. That's just the way things work. That's just gravity and the nature of the material. So I spray a little bit of neutral oil again, some of the vegetable oil on the inside, so if it sticks, if it falls on it, it does not stick, I should say. So oven is set at around 95, 100 degrees. It is 7:40 in the evening. A little bit later than I should already be done, but it's fine. The dough's feeling really good. It's really tight and looks good, so I'm gonna put it in the oven and we'll check on it at about 60 minutes, and then if it needs more time, it needs more time. Lady, she a good girl? She's a good lady bear. Why you get away from the camera? Why you get it right on top of me? You never get on like that. When I put the camera here, all of a sudden you're all over me. Good lady. Bake day. We ready to go? This one looks really good. I think this one might work well. So now, just grab my pot, which has been in a 500-degree oven preheating. Put it up here on top of my stove top. Grab my bread and get baking. So, bread's in. Set a timer for 24 minutes. I think 24 minutes seems pretty good. Even though it's a small loaf, it's still dense. So it's sitting closed for 24 minutes. After that, after the timer goes off, I'm going to go in and take the top off and then bake it for another 10 minutes to put some color on it. And we should be in good shape. Get a good thumbnail. There we go. It rose quite a bit, so I'm really happy with that. So, put it on a cooling rack. Gotta let it sit for the next 3 or 4 hours. I always let it sit for at least 3 hours, probably more. Let it get down to room temperature, because it's still baking, so it needs to finish its cycle. And then I can eat my breakfast, which is right there. Let's get the next one in. We'll have 24 minutes to eat. That's more than enough time. So this one seems okay. Not as puffy as the other one, but it is holding together really well. It looks good. Right here. So one of them I do 2 and the other I do 3, just so I can differentiate them. And now I put my gloves on. So this one came out perfect. I couldn't ask for a better loaf. So this one should come out pretty good. Set the timer for 24 minutes. Second loaf is done. Go ahead and take it out and see what we got. Okay. I got stuck on it. Okay. It's a little bit smaller. It's a little less dough. I think this came out nice too. It's stretched really nice. There's a good good color on it. This letting it sit for a little bit, I think helped with the gluten build, so it was a lot stronger. I noticed that when I was shaping them, they felt a lot stronger. So that allows them to grow a lot better. So we're done here. Let's see while we're here. They're done. Everything looks good. Let them rest for about 4 hours before we can cut into them. But yeah, this loaf came out really good. You can't smell them, but they smell really great.